So great to see you again. It's Judy from Coffee Cookies and Books, and what I've got for you today is a new feature that we're going to have on my channel called Reading Deep Dives. I know you're wondering what that is, and I'm going to explain that on the other side. All right, Reading Deep Dives. What do I mean by that, and what is it that I want to do with it? So what I want to do is I want to take certain books that I'm reading that I think maybe you might be interested in and do almost what I call chapter wrap-ups. This is going to work really well for this one particular book, but I'm in each time that I do this, I will feature more than one book. So in this case, there's going to be two. And the reason that I'm going to do that is because not everybody's going to be interested in the one book. So I think that if I do two or three this way, then people will be more apt to find one of the books that I'm featuring interesting. The other thing is that these are going to be books that I have read already. So the reason that these two I'm doing is because I read them in a month where I read a ton of books, so that was one, and I felt that I didn't quite get out of them what I wanted to get out of them, and I'll explain that. So that's why I'm going back and doing this deep dive. And so that's how I'm going to pick the books that I'm going to do this with. Like one of the books that I am rereading right now, but I'm not going to put it in here, but is a good example for that, would be The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, I read that years ago. It is an in-depth, it's political, it has financial dealings. It has a girl who's a hacker and she suffers extreme abuse. There's a journalist. There is so much in there that if you went chapter by chapter, there is a lot that you could pull apart in that book and talk about. And I think it's a lot easier to do that on a chapter by chapter basis than it is to take the whole book and analyze the whole book, which I think is what a lot of book clubs do. I don't have a book club. Maybe that's something I would look at doing in the future, but this is kind of my way of seeing if you want to talk about these things with me or discuss these things. Now, what I do have is I have a Discord channel, and I am have that linked below. I finally figured, for some reason, the link wasn't working. I think I figured that out. So you can apply to be a member of the Discord, and that is perhaps somewhere where we can talk about these chapters together on there, outside of what I'm doing in videos. So that's just a thought, because I don't really have a book club or a following, and I don't use like Fable or any of the other. I don't have the time for it. So Goodreads is about the only place where I post my reviews. So I'd rather have somewhere that we can kind of just casually message and talk. And I thought Discord might be a good option for that. No, I do also have my Instagram. If anybody wants to join me on my Instagram, you're always welcome to do that. And there's messaging. The only difference is that it's a lot harder when it's one-on-one. It's a lot more fun if there's a group of us. So anyway, so that's enough about that. Now let's get into the two specific books that I want to do this with. So we have We Used to Live Here by Marcus Kluwer, and This Book Will Bury Me by Ashley Winstead. Okay, now technically they're both thrillers, sort of. This one, not really. This one is kind of thrilling with sort of a true crime retelling behind it, that sort of thing. This is a bit of science fiction, a little bit of thrilling suspense. I think it's suspense, and definitely it's like a puzzle that needs to be put together. So that is this book. Now, what I plan to do is look at the books that I'm reading. So this book has 24 chapters along with documentation. So I have placed it in such a way that the documentation goes with the chapter ahead of it. In all cases, not every chapter has documentation though. So the documentation is kind of spattered through the book, and that's how that one goes. This book has 92 chapters. So, but it has what I would consider to be 92 small chapters. So how we're going to do it is we're going to do one chapter of this, and I'm going to do 4 chapters from this book. And that is actually an even split. Okay, so the way that this divides into this, we're going to end up with an even number of chapters. So a little more reading on this one, but I think it all evens out eventually. This book is a touch bit longer than this one as well. What is this one now? It's 400 and something pages, I think. Yeah, just over 400 pages, and I think this one is just 300 pages. This one is interesting because this one's just 300 pages. I did tab this one a little bit. This one I didn't tab at all. So this I'm going to be going through. This one I'm not going to, the tabs I'll use kind of reference points, because usually when I put a tab in, it's because something has occurred in the chapter that I think is important. So I will tab it, but I have not annotated either of these 2 books. So I will be making very specific notations of each of these books, because I will be bringing them to you. Now, We Used to Live Here also has a Morse code built into it. I have already translated the Morse code, so we will talk about that per chapter. There's even a Morse code on there's this weird map right at the beginning, which is hard to say. Is it a map of the house? Is it a map of the neighborhood? I don't think it's a neighborhood, but I think there's aspects of the house, and there are strange symbols which are discussed. That's discussed a little bit later. So all of that kind of comes into play. And then there's the beginning of the message in Morse code. So I've translated that. In this case, it's the word back. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to keep track of that. And we're going to talk about all of the potential realities that are discussed in this book. I have watched several videos now about this, and really want to break it down myself and really read it. So that's why I'm rereading it. I mean, even when you look at the front of the book, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 broken realities of the house on the front. So I don't know if that has any meaning, but everything in this book has meaning. Okay, so, and there are little tiny details that you really have to look for. So that's what we're going to do with this one. Now, in this one, this is a book about a girl who loses her father. She's in college. She is extremely depressed, and she gets involved in these online crime snoopers. Okay, and she gets involved in a particular group on Reddit, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And it kind of takes her on a strange path. The main character is very depressed, and this is her outlet for it. Now, the prime crime that this is based on is the Idaho 4 murders, which I believe the case just wrapped up with him taking a plea deal and them sentencing him and everything like that, Bryan Kohberger. So that's why I want to go back, because it is a current crime novel. And I just kind of want to go back and revisit all of that as well. So this one, the notations, and I will be annotating it. I will be taking a very good close look at it, just not maybe quite as in depth as this book, as We Used to Live Here. We Used to Live Here is going to be a tiny bit more. So clearly, the entire deep dive is going to be spoilers. But for you, if you're reading along with me, like I'm always going to tell you at the end of each video what chapters are coming next. So if you're reading along with me, it's never going to be a spoiler for you because you will have read what you needed to read for the next chapter of the deep dive. Okay, so I think that that should work fairly well because it's not like I'm going to be giving out spoilers for people who haven't read the books, because we're not going to get to the very end. Once we get to the very end, you'll have gotten to the very end. Now, the other thing is that, if you DNF, you DNF. Don't feel like you have to go all the way through with it. I think it could be a lot of fun if we do this. Now, I think that I'm going to try to do a video at least once every 2 weeks. Now, maybe I can do it more often, but that would say like twice a month, okay? And obviously it's going to take us a while to get through the book, if that's the case. And I mean, you can always read ahead. You don't have to stick with it. It's just that the analysis is going to come, every 2 weeks. I'm going to try for every 2 weeks. If we do it every week, I'll do it every week, but I don't always have the time for that. So, and I do have other videos that I have to do for the channel. So that's why I'm thinking like this is sort of, and this is kind of my way around sort of the idea of a vlog, because I just don't do vlogging. This is sort of a bit, now, one of the channels that I watch all the time is Chandler Ainsley. And she does her vlogging, and she usually picks like, say, 3 books. But what she does is she does a discussion, not a video of her reading. She does a discussion as she reads just certain points in the book. And that's kind of this on steroids, okay? The difference being you're reading along with me, so I don't feel like I can't give spoilers about what's happening in the book. So it's a little bit of that idea along with the discussion about what actually happens in the book. So hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully it's something that you would want to participate with me. Yeah, I'm going to try it out. And if it works for these 2 books, then we will pick another 2 books and we'll do it. Maybe what we'll do is like romance or romantic suspense. I have a romantic suspense author that I follow religiously, and I love, 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 love her books. And then I have a new author that I'm just starting to get into. And it would be really interesting to put them up against each other and reread maybe like my 2 favorite books from them. So that's a thought. And then, I love sci-fi. So it would be like taking something comical like Dungeon Crawler Carl and putting it up against something that's more serious like Leviathan Wakes, which is The Expanse, because I love both, but for clearly different reasons. To me, they're both science fiction based, but one is just off the rails crazy and the other one is just pretty serious. Yeah. So those are kind of what I have in mind, and I would really love it if you could participate with me. I think it would be a lot of fun. I'm open to suggestions, so anything that you could help with. And of course, I would really love it if you could like and subscribe to my channel, because I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year. And I am just rolling right along, and I'm hoping that I can get there. And that means more people to have fun and do this sort of thing with. So that's it. So as I said, I am going to be, first one is going to be chapter 1 and chapters 1, 2, 3, and 4. So, and I believe chapter 1 has documentation. So if there is a chapter in this and documentation follows behind it, it will be included with that chapter. Okay, because it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't happen in every chapter. I should mention that because make sure that you're following along with me in the right format. Always include your documentation if it appears with the chapter you just read. Okay, so that when we go into the next chapter, we're starting the chapter. All right. We used to live here. The chapters have chapter titles. So the very first chapter title in this book is Outsiders. Okay, so I will give you the chapter titles to make sure that you're following with me correctly. This book here has chapter numbers, so pretty easy to do. Yes. So that's it. We're going to give this a try, see how it goes. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited because this is going to be a lot of fun. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. All right, we will see you in my next video.